And I am one also a victim. Sali-sali lang sa lista ng drugs. Nilagyan pa ng high value target si Espinido. So, kaya ako magsasabi din na siguro yung mga lista hindi totoo yun kasi ako nga biktima sa mga sinungaling nilagay ni Senator Bato. Thank you, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, hindi kaya nilagay yung pangalan mo dahil hindi ka na sumusunod sa gusto nila sa bandang huli?
That's one of the reasons, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Ilan po ba ang napatay nyo nung panahon sa war on drugs?
Sa war on drugs sa Albuera, ni isang namatay sa Albuera. Sa Ozamis, sa 2 taon ko may siyam. Sa 2 taon. Sa Bacolod, never ni isa na namatay sa war against illegal drugs. Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Ilan ang nakuha mong reward?
Kung reward lang, matandaan ko, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, kasi may resolution ang Ozamis, si Mayor Aldong Paruhinog at the time, na kung may makahuli ang pulis ng isang malaking drug pusher, may 100,000 na ibigay from the local government unit. So nakakuha kami ng 600,000. Nakatanggap together with the presence of the MILGO na nandoon na ako ang tumanggap ng pera at saka plaque of appreciation na nakahuli tayo ng worth of 600,000 ang binigay ng local government unit sa PNP ng Ozamis, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, di ba pinag-uusapan natin yung reward system na sinabi ni Colonel Garma? Di ba sabi niyo may napatay kayong mga sa war on drugs? Ang tanong ko ngayon, ilan yung galing sa nasyonal na pera ang natanggap mo para sa war on drugs? Hindi yung galing sa lokal.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, siguro sa Ozamis to tell you the truth, no? Maski tanungin niyo si Sir Bato ngayon kung saan siya. Never nakabigay si Senator Bato na sa akin ng ₱1 since sa pag-upo niya nakasama kami. Never. Lalo na yung reward, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, kaya siyempre, sikreto na yun. Bakit hindi ako pagbigyan? Hindi ako binigyan niya ng legal na suporta naman lang. Na pagbigyan ako na, Joby, may pampliti mo na lang ng pang-airplane. Magpunta ako ng Krame, Your Honor, Mr. That's the truth. Ano na nangyari?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Teves, your time is up.
Thank you.
Please wrap up. Okay, thank you, Congressman Teves. So the last interpellator before we shift to another resource person for today is Congresswoman Arlene Brosas. You have 10 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Very, very short lang, Mr. Chair. I have 2 questions, Mr. Chair. The first one is for Senator Laila de Lima. Yung RA 9851 po, may prosecution na ba dito niyan?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, as far as I know, there's none yet.
Yan. Kaya nyo po minimension yung RA 9851 ay sa pagkakaalam ko because of the Section 17, tama?
Yes, one of those, yes.
Oo. In the interest of justice, the relevant Philippine authorities may dispense with the investigation or prosecution of a crime punishable under this act if another court or international tribunal is already conducting the investigation or undertaking the prosecution of such crime. Instead, the authorities may surrender or extradite suspected or accused persons in the Philippines to the appropriate international court, if any, or to another state pursuant to the applicable extradition laws and treaties. So yun po, parang dahil doon, maaari ito ang maging legal basis para yung akusado ay pwede talagang ma-extradite. And we'll go through the process of the ICC.
Yes, although as you said, maaari, because the law, the provision speaks of may. So it's not something that is mandatory. So it all depends on the relevant Philippine authorities kung gusto nilang gawin yun.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, yung second question ko po ay kay Attorney Maria Cristina Conti. Attorney, Mr. Chair, yung gusto nating malaman, bakit yung mga biktima, they would want na sa ICC magsampa ng kaso. Bakit, 'di ba? Bakit kasi walang walang domestic case eh. So bakit 'yon ang pinili ng mga biktima?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The timing of the filing of the complaint or the communications before the ICC is also one point to consider. We filed it in 2018 at the height of the Duterte administration and at the height of the killings. First, one of the reasons is that there's presidential immunity for domestic suits. Second, there is complicity of politicians and people in power. There were high officials were complicit in the crimes as suspected. And in fact, they even had officials in the IAS installed. Attorney Triambulo, whom I have identified as one of those appointed by Duterte, so that he could shield officials or police officers from liability. Also, there was security considerations for the victims who may themselves be the subjects of tokhang operations. Politically, it was not conducive to file any criminal charges in the Philippines regarding the war on drugs at that time, because there was also a refusal of the government to consider this as a systematic attack on the people. Until today, actually, the investigation center on individual crimes, and that the working theory, I guess, for the Philippine government is that these are rogue police officers who just violated protocol. And so for us, in the interest of justice, as was mentioned, the ICC at that time was an effective remedy. This was also in the context of the killings of lawyers and judges who in any way was involved in any drug-related cases. Also logistically, and this is different from, well, this is logistically different from investigations in the Philippines. At the ICC, you file communications, and for the ICC at one point they said they received 53 communications. They tend to look at all these communications all together before starting with an investigation and eventually trial. In the Philippines, you would have to have built a case, and if there were many victims, they would have filed separate charges in different places, and it would be a nightmare to consider them all. So before the International Criminal Court, the Philippine situation is under review, and there is no case yet, but it is under one investigation for all acts of widespread and systematic killings, in the acts of murder and other inhumane acts, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think nakuha ko po yung gusto kong marinig doon kasi parang hindi talaga level playing field dito sa Pilipinas. And second, hindi pwedeng imbestigahan nila yung mga perpetrators, yung sarili nila. So, Mr. Chair, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Chair.
Congresswoman
Mr. Chair.
Rosas.